I think it's very important for us to realize what's going on when we're tempted, because none of us, who cares what God thinks, enjoys being stuck in sin or even occasionally sinning. We want to be victorious. We want to overcome it. We don't like the war that's going on in our mind, sin versus God versus sin versus God. There's a constant battle going on there. So the first thing to remember comes from James chapter 1 and verse 13. It says, "When tempted, no one should say, 'God is tempting me.' For God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone." So it's reassuring to know that God's on our side. He's not up there tempting us to see if we're going to fail so that we can pass the test. Somebody once said they feel like a marionette. God's got them like a puppet on a string, and that's not who God is at all. So we have to realize that God's not the author of temptation. Verse 14, "But each one is tempted when by his own evil desire he is dragged away and enticed." Those evil desires are within all of us. Sometimes you feel like they're terribly, horrifically, heinously evil, and you think you're the only one. And I want to assure you, you're not. We all have fallen desires because of our fallen nature that we're born with. So it's, excuse me, natural to want to act on those temptations. Now, when we're born again with a spiritual nature, we have something to counteract that fallen nature. So listen to what this says. "Then after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin." You see, the temptation is not the sin. The temptation is the sin is when the desire and the temptation gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. So we have to go all the way back to the temptation and stop it. And I look at it like a fisherman puts a lure in the water, and the fish, because he's dumb, he doesn't have a big enough brain, he sees it and he wants to go over and grab hold of it, and then he's hooked. Well, that's the same with what the devil does to us. He knows which buttons to push, so he'll dangle something in front of us that will begin that cycle of temptation to sin. And so we see it, we want it, our evil desires from within start swimming towards it. We have to have a common sense enough to say, I need to swim away from that, because every time I hook onto it, it grabs me. So we have to realize that God will help us to swim away from it. No temptation has seized you except what is common to man. And God is faithful. He'll also provide a way out so that you can stand up under it. So we have to realize that we don't have to grab on, but it takes faith and prayer, and we have to see sin as God sees sin so that we don't want it anymore. We want God more, and that's the way to overcome temptation. It takes practice.